Good evening, YouTube. It's your man GP coming to you live on YouTube. Well, I know I've been a little neglected on my bodybuilding content. It's been pretty uh, busy past couple of weeks. I mean, I've been working on some other stuff, and also, there was a series of great fights that came up last weekend, and then also UFC 246 this week. Well, yesterday. But this is for my fans and my subscribers. No, my subscribers, don't call them fans, they're my subscribers, my supporters who love my bodybuilding content. And it's been a while since I've done anything about anybody just yet. I think the last one I did was Nancy Lewis. But I'm going to talk about this lady right here, one Miss Kimberly Perez. Now, Miss, as you notice, like I like to always say, Miss Perez was at the time a professional female bodybuilder. Being that she was a daughter of a military serviceman, they often traveled, and she was born in Sanford, North Carolina, May 17th, 1970. Now, as a young girl coming up, Kim was very athletic. She was into sports and that stuff like that. At 9, she was a gymnast, and also she danced ballet. By the time she turned 12, she ran track and also played basketball. Now, when she went to high school, she still kept up her track aspirations, and also she joined the cross country team at her school. Now, later on, after she graduated from high school, she got a scholarship to for track and also cheerleading. She moved to Oklahoma after she graduated, where she worked about a few years as a model. And then, she got into powerlifting. Now, she liked powerlifting, and she won some world championships. And she was part of a group called the American Amateur Powerlifting Federation for 5 to 6 years. Now, after winning winning those titles, she decided to follow the footsteps of her two brothers and mothers and get into bodybuilding. Now, her first show was June 2003 at the Omahoman at Omahoman. That's how you want to say it. But she placed first as a novice, meaning as amateur. Then in that same year, she competed at the Red River Bodybuilding Classic, where she took first in heavyweight division. Then she went into the NPC Junior Nationals, where she took second in the middleweight division. The next year, she came back in 2004, and she placed third as a light heavyweight at the NBC Nationals. Then she prepared her to get her pro card, which made her pro debut in 2005 at the Europa Super Show, where she placed second in the heavyweight division. Now, the Europa is a show that's sponsored by Betty Pariso and her husband Ed. It used to have female bodybuilding attached to it, but it dropped it a few years ago. Now, the next show was the North American Championships, where she placed the first as a heavyweight and then won the overall. Now, 2006, she competed at the Atlantic City Pro, which took seventh, and she came back to Europa Super Show, which she took sixth. In 2007, she finally got a shot at the Miss International, which she took 13th, and then competed at the Sacramento Pro, which she took second in the heavyweight division. In 2008, she came back to the Europa Super Show, where she took second as a heavyweight, and then competed at the Toronto Pro, which took fourth. Now, she took some time off for a couple of years, and she didn't compete for most of 2009, 2010, but she came back in 2011, where she competed at the Battle of the Championship, where she took third, and she finally got to be in her first ever Miss Olympia in 2011, where she took seventh. Now, 2012, she came back. She competed at Miss International again and took ninth, and then the Tampa Bay Pro, which took fifth. She took a couple more years off, and she can come back to bodybuilding until about Chicago. She competed in 2014 at Chicago Pro, which she took eighth. And after that, she just got kind of dipped off. One thing about Kim Perez is that she has a great upper body, amazing set of biceps, triceps. I mean, her shoulders and traps are just amazing. The thing is that she never really got her legs together. As you know, her legs are kind of small. The quads are not that large, and not a lot of size in her calves. but she had an amazing body, a great body, and just just a beautiful look, very muscular, very built. In an interview she did on a podcast, she talked that she really focused not too much on you know her legs as she should have, but she did really focus more on her body. Cause being coming from a powerlifters is about strength and everything else, and that's where she really put foundation for her to become a bodybuilder. Now, I think she had a great, amazing shape, and I think she was a very beautiful woman. I just, it's just sad that she really decided to, step away from the sport. And it happens quite often. There's a lot of great female bodybuilders who came in and, and just for whatever reason they didn't, fit the, um, what the judges like. They wasn't, um, physically pleasing. There's always something. Maybe you have to work on the upper body, lower body, or just midsection, anything. But to me, she was a great bodybuilder, and maybe in the future, she might come back. We never know. Quite a few bodybuilders have stepped away from the sport and come back in another shape, form, or another. But I think she's one of the best. And I think I put her in my top 20 favorite all-time female bodybuilders. You know, so you know, this your man George Page. Like, subscribe. Don't subscribe. I'm out.